Okay, so on this exercise, we're doing the creditors control. The creditors reconciliation. So we've got a debit and credit. This is the creditors control account, and this is a creditors list. So a creditors control, unlike the debtors, it increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side, right? So it's actually the opposite of the debtors control. Now we are going to do the same thing. We're going to start from the control accounts, right? We start from the control accounts. So um, we start from the creditors control. What is the balance on the credit side? To start from the credit side, we've got a balance BD, right? It's how much? It's 67,400, right? 67,400 is your balance. Now, what is the next item? The next item on the creditors control account is returns. DAJ, remember we've already dealt with that one. And then the next item is discount, we've already dealt with it as well. Then the next item is bank, total of creditors column, and the folio says CPJ. So remember, in the CPJ, it also includes, the CPJ records all the payments, including the payments to the creditors. So this amount represents, which is the total of creditors in the CPJ, represents the payments by us, the business, to the creditors. So whenever the creditors are being paid, it means the balance reduces, right? They are decreasing. So we're going to debit bank. We're going to debit bank, and the amount that we're going to debit is how much? It's 131,000. It's 133,000. 133,560, right? So that's your bank. Now you also need to check the debit side. We're done with the credit side. The debit side, we've got purchases, CJ, which is creditors general. Now remember, whenever you purchase on credit, it increases the creditors control account. But instead of purchases, the correct account that you need to use is inventory, because you are buying inventory. So how much is your purchases? It's 142,890, right? So we are done with the control account. Now let's go back to our debtors control account, because if you remember, we had an item that falls under creditors. On the debit side of the debtors control account, we had creditors allowances. So we're going to debit it here. We have returned items to our creditors, and therefore the credit will decrease. The debt will decrease. The amount that we owe will decrease. So the creditors allowances is 2,350. Now let's take the additional information. We're done with the ledgers. Let's take the additional information. So as usual, we're going to start with the balance. What is the balance for creditors list? So it's given on bullet number 2 in the additional information. It's 74,295, right? Now we need to go to the other information. So the information given says there's an overstatement of 170, there's understatement of 172 which was there's an amount of 172. So this amount was incorrectly posted to the account of Duma as 127. So we've got our creditor here, Duma and Co, right? So it says the correct amount is 172, but we have recorded 127. So we're going to calculate the shortage, right? It's a shortage. We call it an understatement or undercast, right? So we're going to say 172 minus 127, and then we have 45. So it means we are going to add 45. It's short by 45. And then the next item says the creditors journal was overcast by 40 rands, right? So whenever the creditors journal is overcast, it affects the creditors. Overcast, an overcast will be, we need to cancel it. It means this side is bigger and therefore we need to debit it, we reduce it by 40, right? Overcast. And then the next item says okay, debtors. All the other items belong to debtors, right? And then we're going to total, right? Now let's start with the ledger. So we're going to start totaling the credit side because a control account is a liability account, and therefore it means it's credited. So we expect the credit side to be bigger than the debit. So we take the totals, 290, 210, 290, right? And then we subtract. So we are going to have a difference here which represents a balance carried down, which becomes a balance brought down, an opening balance. Now we subtract the debit side from the credit side, right? So we will have 74,340, right? 74,340, right? So as our balance, 74,340, right? Now let's go to the debtors list, right? So in the debtors list we add the balance, we add it, we add with the undercast. So we've got 74,340, right? So this is your balance, the correct balance at 30 November 20, is it 2020? Let's see, which year is it? Let's see which year is it. 2014, right? So we are done with the creditors control.